What's up? You got your boy Dyreck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. Cause today we're gonna be talking about 3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret. It's the moment when everything happens. Contact. What had happened was... So the year is 2002. Cameron, aka Killer Cam, decided to elbow his way into Rockefeller Studios and hijack a beat. The same beat he made his iconic single, Oh Boy, with the Mariah Carey sample on it. This was all as a get back to Jay-Z, who a couple months earlier took Cameron's beat and made the legendary H to the is O, V to the is A. Pushes on my nizzle used to dribble down in VA. Track. Also in 2002, Dyreck, aka Native Shades, brought his second iPod. Just stunting on you cats. And also in 2002, George W. Bush made the famous line, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, whoa, 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 whoa. You fool me, you can't get fooled again." Yes, folks, 2002 was a very interesting year, especially for the folks at NI, Native Instruments. Now, two of the founders of Native Instruments, Daniel Javier and Matt Gallick, were actually musicians. Daniel even had a record label. He did music production and even had his own studio. Now, during this time, Berlin had a big club scene, and a lot of music production developers went there to party. But it wasn't only dancing with sexy girls and drinking Long Island iced teas that brought these cats to the dance floor. They also wanted to test out their software, test out their gear. And the clubs in Berlin was the perfect place. Now, music production was going in a different direction in 2002. MP3s took over completely. Everyone had an iPod, and everyone was filling it up with the latest hip-hop, rock, pop, country, you name it. Every genre you can name was flooding these folks' iPods. And Daniel and Matt wanted to take advantage of this new form of media. It's kind of like AI. Everywhere you go nowadays, people are trying to take advantage of AI. Every single video, they're like, "Hey man, do you know AI is soon gonna rule the world?" Or, "Hey bro, man, don't even bother trying to figure out your taxes, man. AI will do it for you." Or, "I was gonna take a nap, but I decided to jump on this AI app, and they told me, you know what, instead of taking a nap on my bed, it's better if I took a nap on the subway." AI is everywhere. Now, people have been making music with computer for years prior to all this, but it was mostly for sequencing. They would use computers to sequence their music, sequence their sounds, but they really didn't bring the synthesis to computer. They didn't bring the sound design to computing yet. But in 2002, that would all change with the release of Native Instruments' Kontakt. You're getting an integrated granular resynthesis engine that doesn't require users to link pitch to length. You're getting 3 different modes with that engine: classic, time machine, which enables you to manipulate the length and pitch and format in real time, and tone machine, which imprints the playable pitch onto the sample and maintains the same length across the keyboard. Amazing! You're getting 14 varieties of filters, from analog low pass and high pass to exotic sound design filters. You're getting 3 gig of sound libraries, which includes acoustic pianos, drums, percussions, basses, and guitars, vintage instruments, and more. Native Instrument gives you 5, count them, 5 sample CDs. The software can also import Akai CDs and other common formats. Kontakt could be used as a plugin with VST 2.0, DXI, Dyreck Connect, and Mass. Kontakt can play up to 256 voices simultaneously and can also take 24-bit samples. And it even recognizes WAV, AIFF, and SND files. Ladies and gentlemen, when NI release Kontakt, everybody and their mother at some point relied on Kontakt. It was a smash hit. You gotta remember, folks, this was 2002. DAWs were just coming into fruition, really. People still didn't trust them. You had old school hardware gear guys that, didn't have faith in Reason or didn't have faith in Fruity Loops. They didn't want for them to be performing on stage using a DAW for sound, and then all of a sudden, kapoof, the blue screen of death. They did not want that to happen. So people really didn't trust DAWs all the way. But Native Instruments releasing Kontakt at this time was perfect timing. Because even though those hardcore gear guys didn't really trust the computer yet, the ones that were on them and using them still needed sound. And whether you like it or not, with all the MP3s and all the downloads going on, software was the future. And they knew that. So they wanted their software to have as realistic sounds as possible. And that's where Kontakt steps in. It's like the professor in N1. You know the professor from N1 that played with hot sauce and Skip to My Lou and all that? Some guy on his couch is watching and saying, "Oh, this guy sucks. If he went to the league, he would get destroyed. I would demolish him in one-on-one, no question. The only thing he does is hit you on the head with the basketball, throw it between your legs and lay it up. That's nothing." So the professor hears about this, accepts the challenge, flies this guy all the way from wherever he is to Portland, Oregon, and decides to have a one-on-one with this guy. And as soon as the game starts, the professor hits the guy in the face with the ball, throws it between his legs, and proceeds to beat him by 36 points. That's how real the Kontakt sounds were. Now, you gotta remember, around this time, Kontakt was one of the only shows in town. There weren't that many good VST instrument sounds. There really weren't that many. If you weren't collecting sound fonts or using some obscure plugin, you really wasn't getting realistic instrument sounds like that. But Kontakt changed that. Native Instruments was really serious about their sound. Around 2010, when they launched the Abbey Road campaign, they actually went to the actual Abbey Road studio. The same studio where the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Oasis, Adele, so many legendary acts recorded in the studio. And the Native Instrument guys got on the legendary EMI console, pulled out the analog tape, and started recording. I mean, seriously, the cats was actually clapping in the studio to make the realistic clapping effects. So the workflow of Kontakt is like this. You can browse your sound library on the left window of Kontakt and just drag and drop your sounds onto the right window of Kontakt. And if you drag and drop a group of sounds, they call those multis. You can access the controls of the instruments right on the instrument window. But if you want to do more and go deeper, on that top left wrench, if you click it, you'll be able to edit waveforms, set up loops, add effects, a whole bunch of things. Kontakt also has an advanced scripting language called KSP, and you could basically write your own scripts to edit sounds. And in the manual, they kind of teach you how to do it. They tell you what certain scripts do, but it can get very, very deep. Now, to manage the samples of an instrument, you can click on the mapping editor, go to the left window, then browse to a folder with the samples that you want. drag and drop them into one of the zone grids in the mapping editor. A highlighted region will tell you where the zone will be created on the keyboard. Now, if you only drag one sample into the zone grid and move your mouse to the bottom of that grid, a zone will be created for that specific key. And if you move your mouse up the grid to the top, a zone will expand and be created for the whole keyboard. This, to the average VST user, is complicated stuff. And this is just scratching the surface. And that was the big complaint about Kontakt to some folks. It was too complicated. I'm telling you, Kontakt is so complicated. Like back in the early 2000s when everybody was downloading cracked software trying to beat the system, Kontakt beat them over the head. They downloaded Kontakt, opened it up, and tried to use it and was like, man, what the hell is going on here? This is the most difficult VST I ever seen in my life. Some people felt it used too much of your computer resources to run. When using Kontakt, some folks said they experienced crashing or latency. Now, Kontakt is a very, very advanced sampler. Almost like, remember how the Akai Z8 or the old EMU Ultra samplers were super advanced? That's kind of like Kontakt. It is super advanced. Now, when Kontakt was released, it was about $266. Now, that was pretty expensive for software in the music production space at the time. It wasn't too bad, but you know, it cost more than some full-fledged DAWs out there. FL Studio was only $99 for the beginner edition and $149 for the producer edition. It took the advanced edition of FL Studio that was about $299. So Kontakt was competing with DAWs. The folks at NI really took their time with Kontakt and tried to give the user everything they could ever want in a software sampler. They actually took a year of like preparation and just planning on what to do and features to put in Kontakt. Native Instruments received a ton of mail from happy folks that was just, you know, ecstatic about, yes, finally, we get a dope software sampler that has all the capabilities we could ever dream of. A lot of famous artists use Kontakt. Hans Zimmer, Daft Punk, Alicia Keys, Taylor Swift. Everyone, at some point or another, touched Kontakt. So yeah, that's Native Instruments Kontakt. What had happened was... So this is your boy Dyreck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to go down low in the description and join the Patreon page. And also to like and subscribe. And I'm signing off.